Hi everyone, it's Holly from AskHollyHall.com, and we are going to talk about a new topic that's been downloaded to me, and it's called COVID consciousness. And we're going to talk about the paradigm shift around how COVID has beautifully orchestrated a paradigm shift that aligns all of us in our own individual perspective to collectively, communally, and respectfully bring us into a new world order. The New World Order, the world actually consists of planet Earth and all of its inhabitants and its atmosphere, including humans. But this is bigger than that. This is a paradigm shift that collectively connects us to the energy field that I call Source. You can call it God consciousness. You can call it a God source. You can call it your spirits, your angels, your divine, whatever you want to call it. Okay? So it really doesn't matter. Okay? So the tree doesn't care what you call it. We've got, I don't know how many languages in the world. And each language will have a different word for the word tree. Right? So the tree doesn't care that there's 6,500 languages that call it a different concept. In fact, some of the languages will refer it to as a feminine or a masculine. And hi, Karen. And it doesn't have an emotional, preconceived, conceptual attachment to what you call it. Okay? Neither does the water, the air, fire, animals, plant life. They don't care what you call it. So neither does Source. And neither does God or angels, guardians, guides, whatever. They don't care. What they do care is that you respectfully find your truth in understanding the immense power that they have, just like you have. The immense intentional power of love and design and orchestration and importance that they hold within the concept of the universe. How powerful and important are trees? How powerful and important are bees? How powerful and important is the ocean? How powerful and important is a manatee? How powerful and important is the grass? How powerful and important is the air? How powerful and important is the water that you consume? How powerful and important every single perspective of the functioning of life. How deeply we must reverence its strength, right? And when we don't, when we forget that strength is proven to be steadfast and sacred and keeps us alive, literally. We need all of these. They've even, we already know that bees are close to becoming extinct, and when they die, we die. What if there was only one tree left on the planet? We wouldn't even be alive. We would be dead. Okay? They can live without us. Huh? Who knew? All of this can live without us human beings. but we cannot live without them. What does that tell you? Right? So there's this beautiful, orchestrated, designed, intentional, universal power, that consciousness that's happening behind COVID. And if it wasn't around COVID, if it wasn't COVID, and we will see this moving forward into the future, it will be something else. Okay, it'll be the vaccine passports, it'll be the next vaccine, it'll be the next Delta variant, it'll be it'll be maybe the results of some medical intervention. It will be the people fighting against the people. It will be, it'll always be something in the next 8 years. Okay, so as I have said over and over again, that within the next, trying to get this, there's a light bulb off my chest. What's going to happen is in between 2025 and 2030, and this is not just me, all right? You can take a look at climate change, the works of Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, Greta Thunberg, all of Kennedy, the, I forget his first name, but, the grandchild of President Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and all of the movements that are being created right now to understand that we don't have a lot longer to live if we don't make some fundamental changes to how we are consuming and how we are using the earth to create that consumption, and how that is damaging our earth, our water, and our air. And without either of those three, I don't care how much money you got in the bank, I don't care what kind of job you have, I don't care how much position of power you have, you're dead. Right? Because we all have the same thing. We all have brains, we all have hearts. And if they don't function anymore, our body dies, right? But on a bigger picture, COVID consciousness, this is around a galactic imbalance, okay? There's an imbalance everywhere. And you don't have to believe in aliens. You can believe that we're the only inhabited planet in billions of universes and galaxies that are out there. You can 100% believe that. That's perfectly fine. But there's an imbalance that needs to be brought into balance. And the imbalance itself is what's creating the damage. It's going to force the balance to return. Right? There's no like divine power that's coming down and saying, bing, 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 bing. This is how we're going to, right? It's a natural divine force that's aligning us back into an empowered state. So let me give you an example. Now, let me just calm anyone that's freaking out that thinks that I'm telling you we're all going to be dead by 2030 if we don't smarten up. No. It's just that Zach Bush talks a lot about it as well too, around agriculture. There's all of these great, beautiful missions out there, that I donate to as well, like Charity Water is one of them. And so when I want you to, this is the law of physics, okay? So the law of physics, if it's warm inside of my house and it's cold outside, and I open up the window, the cold air and the warm air will try to create some balance, right? So that it neutralizes. So it's neither cold or warm. It's neutral, a neutral energy. And so that, so the air in the house will leave and the cold air will come in, creating a coldness outside. Now, obviously the warm isn't going to warm up the entire city of New York, right? But that's what it's doing. It's energetically trying to create an imbalance because this is an unnatural level of warmth and an unnatural level of cold. Now some people might think, well, what about places like Hawaii or places like in Ecuador, where it's like ridiculously hot? What is balancing it out? What's balancing that out? Water. So those are surrounded by oceans, an enormous amount of water. The water will I'm not a scientist, okay? But the water will humidify, it will It will go into the atmosphere, creating water droplets that naturally cool the air in a way that we can find it palatable, so that we can breathe and so that we don't shrivel up into raisins, right? So to a degree, obviously, if you're in the middle of the desert and this isn't happening, we already know, unless you're a camel, you're probably going to die without water in a short period of time. Why? Because you need to consume the water to create the balance in your own internal temperature. So anyways, I'm not going to go on and on and on about that, but that's the natural order in physics of how balance occurs. So we are in an imbalanced state, and COVID is showing us, now on a spiritual level, I'm going to go on this level as well too, and on a spiritual level, in order for us to play, and I'm going to tell you why you're all right. I'm going to tell you why the vaccine is right. I'm going to tell you why the vaccine is not right. I'm going to tell you why the passports are right and why they're not correct. I'm going to tell you why medicine is correct and what medicine is not correct. I'm going to tell you about who you should agree with politically and why you should agree with another one politically. I'm going to give you all those answers that are coming from source. All right. And in about 1 minute. Okay. So spiritually, you have to align yourself with what perspective you want to come from. And so the example that I was going to give is this. Probably this one isn't the best example. I want to use a really good example of a flow of color with my art. So just give me a minute. So this is a piece of art. It's a print of my art. If you want to buy it, PM me. I'll send it to you. You can buy the digital format too. And digital format is $20. And this pretty lady, that's obviously very big, is $100. So anyways, when you see this mixture of color, right? I want you to tell me which color is the right color. Which one's right and which one's wrong? Which color is right and which one is wrong? Did you say none of them? Yeah, you're right. None of them. And all of them. They're all right. They're all necessary to create the end result, which is this. Okay, I'll be doing free reading soon, so hang in there. So they're all correct. Which color are you? Are you the black? Are you the pink? Are you the yellow? Are you the green? Are you the purple? Are you the blue? Are you the purpley shade of blue? Are you the turquoise shade of blue? Are you the pink? Here, the hot pink, the soft pink, the yellow? Which one are you? Right? And so if you choose to be one of these colors, which one is the wrong color? I'm yellow and you're blue. Well, you're wrong and I'm right. Is that asinine? Yeah, it is. It's ridiculous because you need it all to create this beautiful picture. And so here's the answer to what's right or what's wrong. We all need, and it does depend on the moment, and we can be multifaceted. You want to hear on this? You can be all of them at once. Right? Yeah, you can be all of them all at once, which actually you are. Because if you're this, you're a part of this. If you're blue, you're all of it. If you're black, you're all of it. If you're pink, you're part of all of it. Right? In the animal kingdom, especially with the manatees and the beluga whales and the elephants, but those are the ones that have been studied, but in the animal kingdom and in indigenous culture, if I suffer, you suffer. If I'm hungry, we're all hungry. If I'm thirsty, we're all thirsty. If you're sad, we're all sad. If you're happy, we're all happy. Simultaneously, all at the same time. And that is the perfect order of nature's universal consciousness source power. Right? So Are you supposed to get the vaccine and you are convinced that this is what you have to get because it's the right thing to do for whatever reason? You are 100% right. Are you supposed to not get the vaccine because you are 100% convinced that this is what is best for you? Whatever rationale you use, it's best for you. You're absolutely correct. Did you think you were supposed to get it 2 weeks ago and now you've changed your mind for whatever reason and it's not going against your truth or your philosophy or your belief system and you're not doing it out of feeling threat or fear? You're absolutely correct. So what's happening is with the COVID consciousness, we are all being faced with our inner demons. We are all being faced with our limitations, right? All at once, collectively, all at once. Okay. Now, there are other countries that are going through other collective shift paradigm changes, such as Afghanistan. Devastating. This is my new mantra lately. Third world problem or first world problem, right? It's not a third world problem. Whenever I get myself upset about the choices I have to make, the parties I can't go to, the events that I may not be able to attend or choose not to attend, or my friends can't go, or the arguments that my friends might have, or family members might have. This is my life. I am an astrologer. These wonderful little stripy things going. I'm an astrologer. I'm a psychic medium. I have been an anomaly and an oddball and an odd duck my whole life. And I fought against it, and I felt uncomfortable with it, and I felt alienated and ostracized and alienated even at parties. I was at a party last night and yesterday, and there was this feeling that people aren't talking about what I want to talk about. This is not my language, but who's going to talk to me about what I like to talk about? Because they're not astrologers. They're not they're just not into this kind of stuff. Right? So there's a feeling of alienation. And many people have that. Some of you have jobs. I made a joke the other day. I bet you gynecologists feel that way. What do you do for a living? I'm a gynecologist. Yeah, anyways, what do you think about those Rangers? Like, what are you going to say, right? And some of them are very inclusive. You feel like, you say that you're a dentist and I go, yeah, I had this toothache like last week. Right? You feel like there's this connection that you can make with them, right? But not everybody has that. So, people in Afghanistan, for instance, especially women, they're collectively going through this massive, horrible paradigm shift together, suffering together. And that's a third world problem. So when I have some of these little issues, one of my clients a few of my clients have asked, what about the changes that's happening with the lockdown? I never liked my job to begin with, and I'm not sure I want to continue this way because now I'm being forced to go back to work, and I really like working on my own, blah, blah, blah. First world problem, and I will give you a heads up that's going to magically make a lot of your decisions much easier, and that is when people say, what decision should I make? What should I do? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what decision you make because ultimately, the decision will be made for you within the next 6 to 8 months. And that depending on the shift of what's happening with COVID consciousness, right? Because it's ever changing. We know that. In the last year and a half, everything has changed so quickly, so fast. It's been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And absolutely for good reason, they don't know what they're doing because it's like, that when you have a stomach problem, or you have sleep issues, right? You throw in everything in the kitchen sink. If you're a real aggressive, you don't wallow in the victim mentality where I guess I'm just stuck with this, so I'll suck it up, buttercup. Most of us are survivalists by nature, and so we throw in everything but the kitchen sink. And sometimes you get to the point where you don't know what's not working and you don't know what is working because you've just done everything all at once and you're trying to figure it out. Well, that's what's going on right now. and that's normal, right? So we need everybody on every single angle to play a part in this. So we do need the people that are having are getting vaccinated. We do need the people that are going to fight against the job and the vaccinations. There is no exactly cookie cutter divide, because there are people that are making decisions that are going against their nature. It's going against their beliefs, their philosophies. And it's really challenging everyone on such a level that it's making our first world problems much more difficult. And it really isn't. This is all temporary. We need to go through this. We need this paradigm shift in order for the legacy of the human race to continue and to rise back up into a collective utopian consciousness. A lot of utilitarians will say that the utopian mentality is a hope, that we grasp onto to validate the suffering that we have in our human construct at the moment. That the utopian concept that I speak of doesn't mean there's no suffering. It means that we don't destroy the hand that feeds us in order to connect and survive. It doesn't mean that everybody gets along and sings Kumbaya and holds hands and lives in a happily ever after. It doesn't mean anything like that. It means that we do not destroy the land and the hand that feeds us, right? And we don't destroy each other in the meantime. That's a utopian. And that we give what we're good at and what we want to give, not to survive, but because it supports a natural order, a balance within our existence as humans and living on the planet, that we should bow down to for putting up with our shit for 50 to 100 years since the industrial age, right? Putting up with this shit. Before that, we destroyed each other without destroying the planet. Now we're destroying the planet and destroying each other. So love your feedback on that. And I want to see what Hess says. What is your opinion about the vaccine, yay or nay? And I think I answered that, Karen. Yay or nay. Okay. It is what you need to do. For you, we need it tested. We need it to go through, it's part of the COVID consciousness. And in my opinion, it's got nothing to do with medicine. But it is a part of us creating this new world order to raise the level of consciousness. So if you need to do it for your own reasons, it's absolutely the right thing to do. And I'm not saying this so that I can protect myself from taking sides. You as a soul have made an agreement before you were born what you were going to do when this time happens. Not about whether you're going to get the vaccine or not vaccine, not whether you're going to fight against the court system about your job, none of that. You decided what part of this big picture, you decided what color you wanted to represent before you got here. Okay? And so those of you that are really struggling because you've got your own convictions and your own belief systems, and even if you've taken, you've had the vaccine, I've had people question me about that too. I've had the vaccine and I don't know, do I want the third one? Some have not had the second one. You've got to decide what part of this big equation you want to be a part of. You don't have to rationalize it. It just has to feel right. If it feels right, then you stick with that. And it's not feeling right because it's out of fear or debate or anger or frustration or retaliation or victimization. Okay? It's none of that. If this is coming out of anger, everything's based out of fear and love, right? So if this is coming out of fear, that's the primary emotion. And the secondary emotion is anger, frustration, sadness, depression, or the tertiary emotions are a whole bunch of other ones. I can't get into that right now. Then you want to second guess. Then you want to deconstruct all of that. And that's a part of it. It's not about like, oh, I can't make a decision because I've got all these emotions. So something's wrong with me. I better smarten up. I better figure this out. No. Part of it is to bring these limitations to the forefront for you to deconstruct. Because the more that you know thyself, the better decisions that you will make on the planet, the existence, right? The more that you know yourself. So if you know, for instance, I had a client today I did a reading for that said, my job is threatened and I don't know what to do, but I've actually always hated my job. Well, maybe you should have quit your job a long time ago. And you're at the breaking point right now of this being the catalyst that has you quit your job and find the job that you've always loved. It's got nothing to do about what's the right thing and the wrong thing to do around COVID consciousness time. It's about you always hating your job. Let's not make this about anything else. This is a catalyst that's helping you align yourself with that job where you're supposed to help serve humanity, because the one that you're doing right now is not serving you. So you're frustrated. She's got 3 jobs. She's frustrated. She's tired. She's irritable. Her partner doesn't want her going to work so much. Her child doesn't like her working so much. And so this is what that's all about, right? Let's have a job where you're happy. Let's have a situation where you're allowed to have your freedom, because sometimes we use jobs to have freedom, because being a stay-at-home mom is not everybody's thing, and that's perfectly fine as well, right? Then when you're happy and you're content and you feel fulfilled, and for the most part, we're all going to have every parts of our day are going to have moments, many moments where we're not, but for the most part, content, then you start making conscious choices and decisions based on what's good for the collective. As long as you're unhappy, you're in survival mode, and you'll eat that chocolate cake, and you'll flip the bird to the person who cut you off while you were driving. You'll be unconscious because you're in survival mode, just getting through one more miserable day. So this is going to force us. This is the good news. This is going to force us all to find our happy place and align ourselves with where we're supposed to be in the new world order of consciousness. And that's why I call this COVID consciousness, because this is an opportunity for us to really let go of limiting beliefs and align ourselves for our children. And if you don't have children, for your friends' children, for the future. When you get reincarnated, you're coming back to this shit. Okay, what do you want to come back to? Right? So I think, Tracy says, I think it's a personal choice. Oh, I lost it. And also to remember to respect other human beings' choice. Even though I am fully vaccinated, it is not a cure. It's a preventative measure. And that's a great answer, Tracy, and I like that. But I also understand the people that say that if you don't get vaccinated, you are part of the destruction of the human race, because the COVID is going to continue. The variants are going to continue to migrate. That's not the word for it. Get much more difficult to be able to maintain, and they're in survival mode. That's fear-based, but I also understand that as well. I understand that they're on that level of survival of the fittest, and if I have to destroy you for me to live, I'll do that. Survival of the fittest. And that is a human nature. It's biologically built in us. It's built in everything. We are a universe of a billion, quadrillion. There isn't even a number for how many living things are in us, right? Molecules, neural pathways, cancer, viruses, heartbeats, fat cells, everything is designed to survive, even if it's cancer cells. It's going to kill us. But cancer cells are designed to survive. That's why it's so invasive, right? Neural pathways that say every day, you're stupid, you're fat, you're stupid, you're fat, you're stupid, you're fat. You're stupid, you're fat for thinking that you're stupid and you're fat, right? The reason you're fat is because you think you're stupid and you're stressed out all the time. Like, these are neural pathways. They're little squiggly lines with little tentacles on the end of them that are specifically for that word fat, specifically for that word stupid, specifically for that word limiting belief. And it needs to survive. But as soon as you start meditating, eating better, saying I'm beautiful and I'm fit and I'm healthy, they start to die. And they want to survive. So you wake up and they go, you're stupid and you're fat. And no, I'm not. Right? And they start to die. And that's why they say within 21 days you can beat a habit, because that takes 21 days for that neural pathway to die. When you start to change a habit, for instance. All right? I know. Whack of information. I am the queen of research. So you're preaching to the converted here, following many of the same experts. Thanks, Karen. What else are we saying? I think it's a personal choice. I absolutely agree. Depends on the moment, 100%. Our human rights are being challenged now, and we are not given a choice. Absolutely. So what we're going to do now, and I'm probably being censored right now, and that's why I'm not getting, a lot of people watching me right now, but we are going to do some free readings. So for who is here, and you know what, if any of you feel free, please share. Latest research now is 63 days, not 21 days to break a habit. Just learned this. It depends on if the habit is attached to an emotion, like eating. So your body can not desire smoking, let's say. Your body cannot desire smoking anymore, but emotionally you might desire that. But thanks for that information. I'm going to look it up. Feel free to share my live. I'm going to see if I can do that. I think I can do it on my computer. And then ask questions so that I can do free readings for you. So I'm going to share this in my group. Please re-listen. Tons of info about COVID consciousness. COVID. Feel free to share. And I would like to do some free readings. So please add your birth date and your question. And I'm going to share this in a bunch of groups. Be help if I can spell consciousness. I need a reading. Just moved and left a 19-year relationship. Oh, wow. That's big. That's a big shift. Wow. Okay. So let me get your birth date. And if you have the time that you're born, I would appreciate that as well. Okay. So if I can get your birth date, that would be great. That's fine. Which birth date? What's your birthday? Okay, so I'm doing some free readings. If you guys are just jumping on right now, please wait when this goes back up. Bring this, listen to it again, because I talked about what's called COVID consciousness, and I gave you a lot of answers to the pressing questions that are being forced on us collectively, and what are the answers to those? What should you do? What shouldn't you do? Next time, rather than 07, I like the word July. I know it's obvious with 27. I don't want to do the math. And 19. So this is a 19-year relationship. What is going to happen for me in the future? Why did this happen? And there's a little bit more of a shift that's going to continue for you. So I want you to hang on, Karen. You're going to have a couple of romantic setbacks. And what that means is romantic setbacks are when we take a nostalgic look at historically at our relationships, our jobs, our childhood sweethearts, our family, our passed away loved ones. And we have this romantic view of only focusing on the wonderful, amazing things. Some of it we make up on our heads, and we get a setback. What did I do? Did I make a mistake? Did I do something wrong? I should have done something different. Maybe I could have saved it. Can we start to go through this bargaining stage of grief as part of the stages of grief when we go through change? And you're going to have that in around the end of October and into November again. Right? End of October into November. And the last around that, and then you'll be forever moved on from that relationship, will be in 2022, and that'll be at the most of March and the very beginning of April. The reason you're doing that is because you're taking stock of your basically your romantic view of life. So what happened when you were around the age of 12, and also when you were around the age of 22, as well as age of 4, age of 12, age of 22, and the age of 26. Okay, so those are the 4 ages where you went through very devastating circumstances around your family dynamic, especially related to extremely confusing and abandonment, very chaotic, almost created a feeling of PTSD between your mother and your father, specifically the loss and the abandonment around father. And in all of those times, you survived that by creating a plan that you would vicariously live through a romantic peephole view of a story that you were going to have when you were an adult. So with that you created sort of a fairy tale story. I'm going to have this job. I'm going to have this partner. I'm going to have this husband. I'm going to have this family. I'm going to have this connection. I'm going to have this new, wonderful, playful, childlike, amazing, creative story of life. And it happened in each of those years, okay, especially 26 to 30, especially around the age of 28, but started around the age of 26, really shaped And what's happening is you're dissolving the reality of the viewpoint that you had to hang on to that romantic fairy tale life. It can be as simple as, I started a job. I wanted to be a nurse, and I was going to help and save people. And I was going to go to school for that. And this was my dream job. And I always wanted to have this job. And then at the age of 45, let's say, someone says, I'm burnt out. I'm tired. Things have changed. I can't do this anymore. But I had a dream. This was my life. This is what I dreamt of always. I went to school for this. I loved my job once. It's no longer what it used to be. So I'm hanging on to that, damn it. I'm hanging on to that dream. I'm going to be proud, and I'm going to tell people I'm a nurse, and they're going to go like, wow, what a job, right? And then I'm going to let other people vicariously make me falsely believe in my happiness, because I'm sharing that happiness, but deep inside, I'm not happy anymore, right? That's ego. Ego makes us hang on to stuff like that. So what's happening is you're letting go of that ego. I got this beautiful little orb on my face. I'll put it where my teeth are. We're gonna hang on to that ego that you're no longer gonna hang on to the ego that says that I still have to live in this fairy tale life, even though, right? So that's why the ending of a relationship got dissolved, right? Because you no longer wanted to be in the fairy tale anymore. Do you understand that? Does that make sense to you? So in those dates that I'd mentioned, that's going to dissolve. So that's a great thing. Moving forward, you probably want to know, like, well, am I going to find a new love in my life? And I want to find that for you as well. Miss Karen. Or your home is going to change as well, too, after January 2022. If you have a daughter or a stepdaughter, but if you have a daughter, that relationship with your daughter will change very positively just after January as well, too. And the home will change, and you'll love it. There'll be a lot of freedom around that. And April 2022. No, I'm going to lie. No. Okay, Karen, no kids. Do not move until after April 2022. There will be a very sudden change in your home environment. Other than the kids, many things were correct. Hi, Jolie. And there will be a sudden, unexpected change in your home environment, and that's what's going to change where you are in your home in January. So you've got about a year of not reinventing the story. We don't want to do that. But aligning yourself with what's playful and fun and entertaining, and just doing all the things that you've always wanted to do, that this relationship kept you from having fun and being playful like a child. You lost your childhood due to the events that I had mentioned, and you need to play again. And I know it's hard with COVID. I don't care what you do. Take up art, take up crafts, redesign your house, find a couple friends, start going to the movie theater, start finding outdoor entertainment, start whatever's fun for you. Start having fun. Okay, that's what I want you to focus on. Playfulness. The December 16th. And then when this year is over, when 2023 comes, which is only a year and 4 months from now, if you want another partner, it'll happen after that time. So let's look at the sacred journey of Laura of the 16 December. Do you have a question? Laura. So what's happening is, you know what, Laura, you are the seeker of truth. You've got a strong belief system, a strong value system, very, very strong in humanity. You're feeling disillusioned right now. You've got, you're extremely empathic, and you're feeling the suffering in general. Whatever it might be, the suffering in your workforce, suffering in your family, suffering in humanity, suffering, and you feel a need to control that feeling of suffering by highly educating yourself and sharing that education to motivate people and to support people to find their belief systems. And that's challenging because people aren't listening. People aren't paying attention. And you're really frustrated with that. So what you're now, and this is about a 1.5 year cycle for you that you've got left, almost a 2-year cycle. So what is your truth that you've always let sit underneath a dogmatic lifestyle? So for instance, let's say I am a manager for a reputable, strategic, mainstream corporate world, and I don't talk about my new age belief systems, even though I've got a very smart, educated concept of that. This is not something that I share with the world, or with my world, not with my world right now. And you're going to question in the next 2 years that I don't think I can do this anymore. My truth, my philosophy, is that a new word? My philosophy is not in alignment with the life that I'm leading. And you're going to have, there's or mother-in-law that you're going to have these philosophical, educational arguments with. And be careful that you don't get stuck in what's right or what's wrong. You're very connected to the suffering of others. And so you're the one that says, don't be the bully. Don't be the bully to those who might have mental health issues or depression or anxiety, right? You're very connected to that. And so you feel a need to preach to those who are those, bullies, and they're doing it on a level of lack of education. So you feel that you educate yourself so that you can share that education with others, but you're barking up the wrong tree. These people don't care about being educated in that concept. So there's a huge paradigm shift that's happening within you. And if you don't work for yourself, this is going to catalyze an opportunity for you to work for yourself. I love grounding under trees. I love trees, Karen. I love follow your preaching to convert here, fellow. Many. Okay. So if I can get feedback from Miss December 16th, I don't see a question. And she says, thank you. She didn't ask a question, but she says, thank you. That hit the nail on the head. Okay, great. November. I'm wondering about my relationship with my boyfriend is moving in, and I want to make sure that this is the correct thing. As long as you have an enormous amount, you've got commitment issues. Okay, now commitment issues is not necessarily a bad thing. You need your freedom. You need your freedom of You need your freedom of speech. You need your freedom of your belief system. You need your freedom of your philosophy. I got to get more light on the situation. You need your, it's starting to get dark where I am, and you need to have your own alliance. You need to have, and you don't want, you have responsibility. You have an obligation to duty. You are very reliable, but you don't want to be burdened or pressured to undertake or engage in an arrangement, in a relationship that means that you have to manage them and that you have to, and that takes away your freedom because they can't manage themselves. In order for you to feel freedom in your relationship, they have to be self-managed. You have to have a lot of respect for them. And they also, they have to be dedicated to themselves. They have to be dedicated to the work that it takes for a long-term relationship to survive. But at the same token, you don't want to be the one that's pulling up the slack, because you'll do that. You're a workaholic and you'll do that. You'll do the heavy lifting, but you want the freedom to not have to do the heavy lifting. Do you understand what I mean by that? Does that make sense to you? And so I would have to know your boyfriend's birth date as well, so that I can understand if the two of you struggle with a personality conflict that, and honestly, you're going through a difficult time in the next year and a half. So hopefully he's more of a calm, patient, almost unmovable, which can come across as boring, and even non-confrontational personality, so that he can help you walk through the next year and a half of you deconstructing, all of those on point things that we just talked about. And since he is October 20th, and he can't be going through any issues. It depends how long you guys have been together. If you guys have been together for a long time, then you'll be able to work through there's a very good chance to work through the issues together. But if this is, you've only been together a year or so and now you're moving in, this could be too many issues to manage at the beginning of a relationship. Okay. So October 20th, 89. If you're just chiming in now, I want you guys to listen to this again from the beginning, because I talked about COVID consciousness and giving the answers of what we need to do during these unprecedented times, what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do from source. Right? Now, this is great because he's all of that. Okay, so he's got a thing around freedom as well in a relationship, and this is this just started for him in June. Did you make him make a decision about what we're going to do with this relationship? Do you say, hey, we're either doing this or we're not? What's your choice? Where are you going with this? I need to know. Did you do that, Laura? Because if you did, that he was accommodating to that. He's an extremely accommodating person. This is a good match. But you may continue to make some radical demands on him, and he made you make the choice. Okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad. Let me work with that one. So your struggle with that choice, right, throughout those dates that I just mentioned, and the next one being October, November, And then it's finally done in April, May for him. But otherwise, he'll be fine. He'll struggle with your need to, you'll have those outbursts like, why don't you just get out of here? What are you doing with me anyways? We don't need to be doing this. This is too much, are you going to do the work? Are you going to do the work? Are you going to do the work? So he's going to struggle with you in that. But otherwise, he's a very accommodating. You might actually find it boring. It's hard for him to make decisions and choices. He loves to experience life with somebody, and that can make you feel a bit constrained. Do we have to do everything together? Right? You might feel kind of pressured around that. You're going to have that agreement that you need. There's a bunch of stuff you like to do on your own. You don't necessarily have to do everything together. But he does like to do everything together. He wants to experience his life with somebody by his side. All right? Sometimes he doesn't have a backbone. He doesn't want to confront issues. He doesn't look into the future and go, well, if there's a pattern here and this pattern leads to an end result that's not favorable, which is what you are very good at doing, he doesn't see that. He doesn't really care to see that. It really doesn't matter to him. And so there's a tendency for him to not want to rock the boat, not want to peace at all costs. Right? So this may be, but with everything that you're going through, he's a good guy. Is what you want. Yeah, it's okay. Let him hang in there. Okay. So will I reconcile with my sister family? Will I have a new relationship with consciously evolved men by 2022? Or as I had mentioned, Karen, it'll be after 2023. You gave me a reading and many things were pretty accurate. Yeah. And Karen, didn't I mention a female? So I don't know if you had it was about a mother or mother-in-law or a daughter, and you said you didn't have any children, and so you will reconcile with your sister in April, between February and April of 2022. Tabitha, did I see someone else's date that I miss? I love your glasses. Oh, I love these glasses too. They're like my favorite glasses. And I'm going to reorder them with better non-reflective lenses on them so I can do things like this. I'm wondering about my relationship. My boyfriend is... Okay, I already did that one. Can you tell me about my career choice? Tabitha, what is your birth date? Oh, March 10th, 1980. AskHollyHall.com. If you sign up for my newsletter, you can get an instant 20% off. Okay? No, Jenna, you're not too late. Tabitha, March 10th. Just leave wonderful reviews. No, leave honest reviews so that people can have an understanding of the work that I do. If you've had a reading with me, leave some comments about your experience with that here for March 10th about your career. Okay. AskHollyHall.com. Thanks. If you go to my page, Ask Holly Hall, Facebook page, Ask Holly, there's reviews there. You can go under reviews and leave a review there, which goes on my website automatically too. My podcasts are on my website. My my blog is on my website. There's all kinds of cool things there, not just where you can book. So job right now, you went through a very confusing time around your career and your job. There was lies, deceptions. I don't know what time you were born or where, but this created a loss of a job or wish you lost your job. It literally just ended. Like, it's just ending now. So there's a lot of depression around your job and your career. And that is, and lies and deceptions and loss and feeling like you don't belong. And that's over in January, February of 2022. The cloud will lift, the answers will be clear, and you'll know exactly what to do. That's interesting. You said 1:36 p.m. because I automatically put you at 1:16 p.m. So that's not too far off. You discovered in May of 2021 what you wanted to do. You're a healer. And you're not in a job right now that allows you to heal. It was 2.5 years ago, but it isn't anymore. And you're depressed around that, and you feel the suffering around that. And so if you're in college, then there's a change in the last 2.5 years that maybe this isn't exactly what I want to do. This isn't where I want to be. I thought I wanted to be this 2.5 years ago, but I'm no longer there. Oh, Jolie, you're 1:36. Sorry. I'm talking about Tabitha. So Tabitha, I want to make sure I'm answering the right one. Thank you. Am I too late? Tabitha's watching. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out here. Tabitha, where are you? She did go through a loss around lies and deception. Okay, it is Tabitha. Okay, Tabitha. And so this is what you're good at, okay? You're a healer. You want to help others. You are very smart, extremely intelligent. You do desire. You're a great you're an awesome problem solver. You desire to have a financial security, which you will have. Financial security is yours by nature, okay? You have got abandonment, and you've suffered abandonment and loss, specifically to do with your mother. And it might have been around an ailment or an illness, and there was a desire for you to help heal others because of that, whether it been around depression or physical loss. There's a desire for you to educate yourself so that you can make money and help other people problem solve. Very similar situation that you went through. And she says, wow, yes. And you're going to get more of the truth of what happened in June, in January, February. And after that, your eyes are open. And there's no confusion around this, that you'll see clearly that you made the right decision, that you made the right choice, that you intuitively knew what was going on, that you didn't deserve this kind of suffering, you didn't deserve this kind of loss, okay? And that will be very clear to you in January and February of 2022. And the shift and the changes that you made around your career, I have goosebumps, thank you. And you made this decision in very sudden, unexpected change in direction in May, in June. Whatever happened in this loss and deception in May and June, that shifted your perspective of what you needed to do. You knew that you needed to do this then. And that will begin its road to success in November and December. Okay, so that's going to shift in November and December. So if you've changed your how you wanted to work with in your college degree or your college, all that's going to shift, and there's a job around that as well too. So there's one more question, and then we're going to sign off. And that was somebody who said, "Am I too late?" That was Jenna. You are so welcome. AskHollyHall.com. Sign up for my newsletter on the website. You'll get an instant 20% off. Okay, and join the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients that I have that work with me on a regular basis to help align you with your source power. Why you're here, especially during these unprecedented times. Hi, Jay. You're new. I like newbies. Okay. Put your date again, Jenna, because I can't find it. Jenna. Oh, there. December 4th, 87. What's your question? What's your question? If you're just coming on, please go, when this gets put up, go back and listen to it again. There's nuggets of information at the beginning. I'm going to edit it, so I'm only going to talk about that and not do all of the reading so other people can. Maybe I won't edit it. Source just told me not to edit it. Just put it up on YouTube just like it is. Okay. Kids, what do they need from you? Well, one of the best things that I do is readings on children. And everybody make comments on that because they're just like mind blown when I read about their children and their connection with children and why do you have these children and why did they come to you and why did you birth them and all of their personality traits and how it's completely enmeshed or not enmeshed and how it gravitates and aligns with you or how it doesn't align and why it doesn't. And it's so powerful. Readings about your children, everyone should have one. Everyone should have one. And in fact, a reading about your child, me talking to your child in a pre-recorded platform is something you want to have to give to your child when they're ready to listen to it. And it's not the same as what I do with adults. It's much more gentler, much more, it's a completely different energy. Because they don't have life experience to really know who they are yet. '87. December 4th. Sorry. Let's ask, she said, kids, what do they need from me? What about what you need from them? What you need from them is that they're disciplined, respect, that they're autonomous, so that you have freedom, that that they eliminate all of your fears that you have by autonomously acting in a certain way of a level of intelligence, that they listen to what you have to say and that they reverend you as right. You need a sticker on your fridge that says, let's just all avoid wasting time and just assume that I'm always right. That's what you need on there, right? That's what you need from them. You're a multitasker. You're restless. You like distraction. You don't always want to focus on what their needs are, but there's a fear-based around not having the freedom. So I've constantly got to micromanage them so that I can have some freedom. This is what you got to stop doing it. You got to stop doing that. I've got to look at their personality traits. I need their birth dates, and we can do that at another time because I'm going to sign off soon. But if you realize that, and this is directly a result of the intellectualized conversation that you did not have with your mother. So, Jim, you're kind of childish. You didn't have these intellectual conversations as a child with your mother. You didn't feel heard. You had tons of questions that your mother had an impatience for. Even in the educational system, there was a restlessness, and you didn't feel heard as well. And there was, because you're smart and you're intelligent and you're curious, and so you feel a need that, I want to be there and hear my child and hear what they have to say and engage in a conversation of intellectual conversations with them. So, so communication has become the forefront of your relationship with your children, but you may be with a child that communication isn't a thing for them. They don't really care. They don't need all the detailed conversations and to deconstruct through conversation everything in order to feel heard. That's your thing, but that's not their thing, right? So you may be working diligently on that part of the relationship with your child, and it's not what they want. Okay, so there you go. Hopefully this has all helped all of you in one way or another. AskHollyHall.com. Go on my website and you can sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get 20% off instantly. I've got podcasts on there of consciousness and alignments of source and universe and power. And I'm a very scientific person. I'm always, if you go back and listen to the beginning of this, you'll see that I always back things up with just life, just nature and life and physics and science and everyday living, to help conceptualize it, right? And thanks, Jenna. And when you can make sense of you and who you are, it just saves so many issues in relationships, in life, making decisions around career and everything like that, right? So I'm gonna go. Should have done that. Don't have the reflection of my computer on my glasses. You know what we're gonna do? Let's end this session with a meditation. This is a new meditation that was downloaded to me. I'm going to do a recording on it. Insight Timer is a great place for you to get a lot of my meditations on Insight Timer. It's an app you can get on your phone. And this is a new one that was downloaded to me a few days ago. All right. It's very, very easy. And I did this with a client for the first time. So all you have to, it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, and you don't, it doesn't matter, like you could be driving or whatever. It doesn't really matter. So what I want you to do is think of something that bothers you, upsets you, hurts you, concerns you, confuses you, a question that you have that you can't find an answer to. I want you to think of that scenario and that situation. It could be something from childhood, from early adult, something that's happening now. It could be something that's happening to somebody else. I want you to sit there and think about that. Okay? I want you to see that scenario happening like a movie screen in front of your eyes. Okay? My background education is in philosophy, psychology, neurolinguistic programming, NLP, past life regression therapist, and hypnosis therapy. So I'm very linguistic, and I understand the language of the mind, how powerful that can be. Think about it. Now I want you to feel the feeling of those thoughts. Are you angry? Are you frustrated? Are you lost? Are you confused? Are you neutral? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you hesitant? What is that feeling? What does it feel like? Feel it. While that scenario is playing out in your head, that person is talking to you in your head, that visual of that mother-in-law that's making you crazy, right? What does that feel like? What does it feel like? Right? Now, I want you to take that feeling, I want you to visualize that feeling is, where is it? Is it in your heart? Is it in your gut? Is it in your head? Is it in your neck? Is it in your jaw? Is it in your hands? Where is that feeling? All right, now I want you to exaggerate that feeling, whether it's tension, frustration, irritability, sadness, whatever that is, exaggerate it. And I want you to make it this purple, pink, gold, sparkly, silver, whatever color is beautiful to you, blue, sparkly, vibrant. I want you to, wherever that is, I want you to see this ball of color around it. Now this feeling is turned into this ball of sparkling, beautiful, crystallized color in that area of your body. Now I want you to stop thinking about it. It's not a thought anymore. It's not visual. It's not in your head. You're not thinking about it. You're only feeling and seeing this color. Just feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. Exaggerate the frustration, exaggerate the hurt, exaggerate the anger, exaggerate the irritability, exaggerate the short-temperedness, exaggerate the fear. Exaggerate it. It's bigger, it's stronger. It's like, oh my God, it's massive, right? And you can feel it in your fists, your jaw, your wherever it is, your heart center, your gut. It's so big. And I want you to take this purpley color, this pink color, this blue color, whatever color, sparkling gold, beautiful, crystallized color, make it bigger and bigger and brighter. Now, get it out of your head. I don't want you thinking about it anymore. You don't see the person anymore, the situation or the frustration. You don't see it. It's not in your head anymore. It's colored in feeling and emotion. And now I want you to take this ball of emotions and feelings and I want you to swirl it around. Swirl it around and around and around and around and around and around and around, around. Swirl, 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 swirl. And now, and it feels, yucky. I don't like it. It's swirling around. Now I want you to take that swirling in whatever direction it was going. I want it to now go in the other direction, and the other direction is the opposite of it. I'm no longer frustrated. I'm patient. I'm no longer angry. I'm calm. I'm no longer frustrated. I'm relaxed. I'm no longer pissed off. I'm neutral. Right? Neutral. We're neutralizing it. It's going in the opposite direction. And it's getting sparklier, and there's ribbons and diamonds and everything swirling around it in the opposite direction. How does that feel now? How does that feel now? The ball can get smaller and smaller, and the emotions are gentler, calmer, relaxed, neutralized. No thoughts in your head. Done. Closure. Closure. Let the universe have it. Closure. I'm cloaked in protection of love. Closure. Neutralization. How does that feel now? Just sit with the feeling, not the thought. And sometimes we can do this when we want to make a choice or a decision. When we're finished, we're like, what choice do I want to make now? What decision do I want to make now? What is my higher self telling me to do now? Tell me how you like that. Namaste. Love.